Alright, hey guys, how's it going? I just wanted to go over the Destiny 2 Season of the Splicer webpage because these seasonal web pages usually have a lot of information that isn't present in the trailers, and it's just nice to try to find all those little tidbits of information that you can. So it starts off with a bit about the story. Vex have Sunset the Sun. I think that's really interesting. I know there's a few games that have done stuff with like suns disappearing. Skyrim did it with the Dawnguard expansion, with the vampires just wanting to take out the sun so they don't burn up and die. And you had those arrows that would take it out. And then Anne Orlando in Dark Souls, took me a minute to remember the name. I know if you did certain actions, you could just take out the sun completely and the place would just be dark. So I think it's cool. And I think it's going to be cool seeing for a season the whole tower just be like nighttime permanently, and having this like, I don't know if this is Vex simulation stuff, but it's a really cool aesthetic. I really dig it. We got a picture of Mithrax here. Looks like he's upgraded a bit since we saw him for that Outbreak mission. He's got a helmet that kind of looks like a shank or like some VR goggles. And then you can see on him too, there's this like purple strands. It almost looks like the Black Army Radiance that you'd put on like the Hammerhead, that Obsidian accelerator stuff. I really like that aesthetic, this purple stuff, and it's on the seasonal armor too. I think it's Splicer tech, not exactly sure, because I think he has this gauntlet here that's Splicer technology. So we'll see. It's cool. I dig this design, and I like that purple stuff on his armor and on the new 3 armor sets. Here's a look at the new Helm. So it seems like it's going to be upgraded each season with like a new room for the associated seasons, like activities and vendors. I like that idea. I like just the idea of having every season a new door opens up, and then you just have each room is associated with a season. I like the server hung up by some hoses and cables. Reminds me of something like GLaDOS from Portal. It seems like this room is going to be on the left, right when you spawn in, down those stairs. It seems like there's a new symbol above that doorway there. And in this one, we get a shot of the backs of that seasonal armor. It's pretty cool looking. You can see the Titan's mark. Looks like it's just some cables, some like wiring. I like that. And you can see a bit about the Warlock's back. Has some things that look like capacitors. You can see some of that purple like splicer lining I was talking about, that glow. I wonder if that's going to shade. I know they said they were going to do like more for shaders, and I know they did with the Guardian games. That stuff shades like exceptionally well. All those glows. I don't think I'd be opposed though if the purple didn't change. Especially if it's like a lore reason why it's purple, or just so you're always matching with Mithrax. They got some hosing there too on the Warlock, looks cool. They kind of have those 2 weird like wings on the helmet for Warlocks. I'm not sure if I'm liking it or not. It looks cool from the back here, but the front it almost looks like gills or something. Here we've got some info on the 6-player match-made activity. Fire teams of 6 will use Splicer tech to hack the Vex network, uncover their secrets, steal their code, and use their power against them. So I wonder how similar it's going to be to Season of Dawn and the whole sundial activity. I'm just not a big fan of any of the seasonal activities, really. Of course, Season of the Worthy was the worst with those just notoriously bad public events in those bunkers and that whole upgrading system with those like Warbind token things. But that upgrading system's been present, I think, ever since that season. Arrival's had that prismatic recaster that you upgrade. Season of the Hunt had the lure you upgrade. Season of the Chosen has that hammer that you socket, and then the war table that you upgrade. I don't like the upgrade system a lot at all. It feels really time gated, and I don't know. I know they have to stretch the season out to last, a whole season. and they don't want people running through it all that quickly. But I don't know, man. Something needs to be done about this seasonal loop of just doing an activity, getting a gun at the end, and then just doing that over and over and over. And the only things you unlock are like, oh, you get a second perk slot, or oh, you get like better chances for this, or it can drop 2 sometimes. It's always cool for like the first few weeks, and then it just is a slog. Sundial was cool, but it just had those 3 rooms and like the 3 bosses, but like I don't know, how different are they really? Arrivals had, again, that public event, which was better than Worthy. It also had that weekly quest, which was pretty good. Battlegrounds are cool, except that battery throwing section. I despise that, especially with how buggy they were when it launched, with how precise you had to be throwing those things. But still, I think this really messes with the combat flow, that battery throwing section. You also get a better look here of the back of the hunter. See some more of that purple lining, and then their cape kind of looks like the Titan mark there, with just being some like cabling and wiring. It looks like a 2D kind of mesh, like it's totally flat if you look at it from the side. You also get a look at the Warlock Robes. Looks like their whole robe is just like wires and cabling. I like that look a lot. It kind of reminds me of the Berserkers from Scourge of the Past. There's also going to be a weekly quest like Arrivals called Expunge. It says each week, Guardians will uncover new vulnerabilities within the Vex network, and they will use Splicer keys to infiltrate and collapse it from within. I don't have too much to say about that. Kind of looks like the Infinite Forest, I guess. I'm just digging this like Tronish theme overall, but I'm down for a quest each week that's a little different, has some new dialogue. I don't mind that. Vault of Glass, baby. I'm really excited for this. We're gonna do it day 1 again, just like we tried to do with Deepstone. I don't think any of us played it in D1. I don't even know if any of us played D1 at all, but we're gonna be doing it blind, or as blind as we can, with, you know, the raid being out for a while. Because I've watched gameplay of the raid and stuff just to see like what I was missing back when I was like having a craving for raids. I think that was back when Shadowkeep came out, and I was like looking up all the raids that have been out. I don't remember many of the mechanics besides just, I know there's a shield thing that one player uses a lot. I think that's it. I know there's some Gorgons. So I'm excited for this. We had one of our raid members who was going to go on vacation to California during this, but he decided to cancel that trip in order to do day 1 with us. So kudos to him. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm really excited for this. I think raids are some of the coolest video game activities I've ever done. And I think I'm going to remember the Deepstone Crypt day 1 experience forever, because we did it totally blind, and we got all the way to Atrax, and we solved his encounter, but we couldn't execute. So I know that was really frustrating, being stuck on him for like 7 hours, and then just eventually just having him beat us down. But just, I love solving these encounters, and that's like something you can only do once. So it's like a once in a expansion feeling that you get. So I'm excited for this. I wonder if they're going to be bringing all the weapons and armor that came out with it. I know the Warlock set for not the Age of Triumph, but just the original armor set has, I think, my favorite helmet in the entire game. So I hope that set is brought in. It'd be a real shame if it wasn't. I know that Age of Triumph set looks fantastic too, so I don't know if they're gonna do both or only one of those. I don't know how they're gonna pick, or maybe they just do neither and they make a whole new set for Destiny 2. I'm not sure. I hope that helmet gets brought in though. It's something really beautiful. Armor synthesis, transmog. No controversies or anything to talk about there. They did it perfectly. Let's go, Bungie. Explains a bit here. Collect synth weave, turn into synth core, turn into synth super weave, complete bounties, shoot enemies, do 1,000 things, and you can transmog a piece. Very convoluted, very needlessly complex, but it's transmog, so I'm excited for it. I'm gonna finally be able to do some new looks that previously wasn't able to because the stats on those armor pieces just sucked. So I'm looking forward to that, pulling off some Dark Souls looking armors or some Siva-ified Warlock sets. Her loom looks really cool. I'm wondering if this is the same place in the tower that she was at before. I like all this like synth weave hanging from the ceiling and these looms. Kind of reminds me of that new Diablo trailer. It's not new, but like the revealed trailer, and it has that antagonist. I don't remember her name, but she had that like cape of blood and flesh that was like hanging from the ceiling. This just reminds me of that a bit. Got some previewing of the exotics and some weapons for the season. We got here a sidearm in the top right. I can't tell if this is a scout or a pulse. No, I think pulse is the bottom left. But that could be a scout too, because I think some scouts also use the bullpup design. I think in the top left is that a grenade launcher? I think that's a grenade launcher, because that barrel's pretty like tall, and I don't see anywhere where you'd reload if it wasn't a grenade launcher. It has that same handle like mountaintop, just that like that grip in the front for that barrel, and you can see there kind of the split where it would look like. So I think that's a grenade launcher. Be interesting to see if it's a wave frame or not. And then yeah, I still don't know about this gun here. It might be a submachine gun, like the Vice style of submachine gun, and you reload that top part there. Or it could be an auto rifle and it reloads in the Vice auto rifle style, because it looks like that side brick might come off, similar to like Valakadin. It kind of has the same silhouette, so it might be that, which is cool. I really like that reload style, and those Valakadin, or the Vice auto rifles are really, I like that style. Vice is, I think, my favorite like manufacturer. All the animations are really nice, and I'm still not even sick of like Recluses, which uses the submachine gun animation. I've seen this animation like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of times. So yeah, sidearm, breech loaded grenade launcher. I'm gonna say auto rifle, and then pulse rifle, pulse or scout. Got an image of the hunter exotic, Star Eater scales. Kind of looks like the swamp thing, like a mermaid. Allows hunters to feast upon orbs of power, charging their super more quickly and making it more potent. So all orbs of power are just better for you. They charge your super up quickly. That's nice. I'm really curious about what making your super more potent means, because this could be a nightmare in PvP, depending on what exactly potent means. Because having an exotic that just makes every single super for your class better, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just duration increases for those or damage increases. And if it's damage increased by how much, you know? Is this going to out damage something like Celestial Nighthawk? Depending on what super you use. I'm not sure. All these things are usually pretty vague until we get our hands on them. The Path of Burning Steps, the Titan exotic. All these exotics are legs. It's got some cool like venting here. Some like where it's bolted on. You got these sides light up. I wonder if that's gonna shade well, and if that glow changes at all. Titan armor that converts solar eliminations into increased weapon damage and makes them more difficult to lock down with stasis. The more difficult to lock down with stasis part seems kind of tacked on. I don't know what exactly that's gonna mean. Like, what, it's just twice as hard to freeze you? Or you're not, like, is everything just decreased by 50%? Is that gonna make any balancing problems in PvP? With just stasis just like not working on Titans, really. Armor that converts solar eliminations into increased weapon damage. So that's pretty similar to what Warlocks got in Season of the Chosen, that Mantle of Battle Harmony. I think for that, it kind of acts like the Talalok, or however you pronounce it, from D1. We're just getting kills increases your like super energy, and then once your super's fully charged, it's instead of a like super energy gaining buff, it's just a damage buff. So this seems like that, except more restrictive, because it's specifically solar eliminations. So that'll be cool to see. I wonder if the increased weapon damage is just like the standard like empowering rift percentage. Got the boots of the assembler. Condenses a warlock's rift into healing or empowering energy. Wait, I read that wrong. Condenses a warlock rift's healing or empowering energy into projectiles that seek out their allies to bless them with noble benefits. If I'm not mistaken, I think Lumina's like healing rounds were called noble rounds. So I'm wondering if that's how they're going to look when you use the ability. I'm just going to shoot like attracting darts that give them either healing or empowering. I don't think it's both, because it says healing or empowering. So it's going to be based on what your rift is. Again, you can't really tell a whole lot about this super just from the wording there. We're going to have to get it and test it out. The biggest things that are going to decide whether this is good or just like a gimmick exotic is going to be how many projectiles it shoots. Because if it's just 2 or 3, that's okay. I think 3 would have to be like the minimum for this to be worthwhile. And then it would have to benefit the wielder, like the warlock that's casting rift. If it doesn't, I think that's going to be useless. And the biggest thing, the biggest thing, this thing could not give you the buff and it could only shoot 1 projectile and I'd still use it. I wonder what the animation is going to be for this exotic. I wonder if you're still going to have to do that whole rift animation just to throw the projectile, because if that's the case, no one's going to ever use this thing ever. I can't stand using rifts with that like 2-year-long animation that gets canceled by anything. Oh, you slid into a pebble, like animation canceled. Oh, you slid just a tiny bit, animation canceled. You walked off a step, animation canceled. I just hope it's like a really quick, like instant, just send out those projectiles. Got a nice picture here of the seasonal armor. You can see that purple lining on like, especially that warlock bracer there. And then all the eyes are that color. You can see that like wiring and cabling on like the Titan arms. And really on that hunter like forearm there. It's a nice set. Looks really good. Really, really, really good. Warlock's head looks a little weird with those like gill things almost. Cool set though. I'm excited. Here we've got the exotic stasis sidearm. Looks really cool. I like that like fork thing that spins at the top. From it looks like it's just a sidearm, and then you can eventually charge up the gun to shoot freezing rounds. I wonder how much of a gimmick it's gonna be. Kind of like symmetry, where it's just like, oh, that's cool, and then you like never use it again. Or if it's gonna be actually viable, like Ariana's Vow. Got the Splicer gauntlet here. Not sure if this is the seasonal artifact or just something that's gonna be in your like quest inventory, like the hammer. Because this season you have that bell, that's the artifact, and then the hammer, which is another like physical item you can see that's in your inventory, and that's what you slot all those runes into. It's cool though. I like having like it's like a net runner glove or something. Here we've got that like preview of the battle pass or season pass. There's an LMG and a shotgun that are season pass specific. I like the idea of LMGs. It's just, it feels like you're always crutching yourself or your team if you're using them. So I wonder if they're ever going to do something about that. I love LMGs. It's just, they're so bad for DPS. Shotgun. Hopefully it'll be slug. I love slug shotguns. The calendar. Nothing too like eye-catching here. We got new aspects for stasis again, trials, Iron Banner, Override Moon. I wonder if these are going to be like the battlegrounds where it's like a new, kind of like new strikes, new I guess just new overrides, and then you launch it from the Vanguard screen, or if it's going to be something in the open world. Vault of Glass on the 22nd. Pinnacle mission starts in June. Vault of Glass raid challenges. Solstice begins. I don't know. I want my Solstice glows back, Bungie. Not cool. Vault of Glass difficulty options. That's really exciting. It'd be nice to play raids back at that, like, the contest modifier difficulty for bonus rewards. Because just playing Deepstone day one and then starting again the next day and having all those enemies just be really weak was like, almost like soured the experience. So it'd be nice to just be able to permanently play contest mode as like a hard mode. Epilogue. Wonder if that's going to be like a live event. Alright, I think that's it, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. I hope you guys learned something. And I'll see you next time. Bye.